The cold rain poured endlessly that night, turning the grand driveway of the Winston mansion into a shimmering mirror of sorrow. Claire, a humble maid who had just finished her late-night cleaning shift, hurried through the storm, clutching her thin shawl around her shoulders. She was used to silence after hours, but tonight something felt wrong. A faint, fragile cry echoed through the darkness. She froze. The sound wasn't from the mansion. It came from near the gate. Heart pounding, Claire followed the desperate cries until her trembling hands found the source, a small wicker basket wrapped in a soaked pink blanket. Inside was a baby, barely a few months old, her tiny fists waving helplessly against the cold rain. Claire gasped, dropping to her knees. "Oh, my God," she whispered, quickly pulling the baby close to her chest to shield her from the downpour. The baby's cheeks were icy, her lips trembling. Claire didn't think twice. She ran back toward the mansion, the rain beating mercilessly against her as she screamed for help. The other servants rushed to the door, shocked to see Claire dripping wet, holding a baby. "Where did you get that child?" one gasped. "At the gate." Claire panted. "Someone left her there in this weather. We need to get her warm." Without waiting for permission, Claire darted to the kitchen, lighting the stove and wrapping the baby in dry towels. As the warmth began to return to the child's face, tears rolled down Claire's cheeks. She looked at the small, innocent face and whispered, "Don't worry, little one, you're safe now." Moments later, the mansion's doors swung open, and Mr. Adrian Winston, the young billionaire who owned the estate, stormed in, drenched and furious. "Who's making all this noise?" he demanded. But when his eyes fell upon the baby in Claire's arms, his face went pale. Time seemed to stop. That's my daughter," he whispered in disbelief, his voice trembling. The room fell silent. The servants exchanged shocked glances. Claire turned, confused. "Your daughter, sir?" Adrian's eyes filled with pain as he stepped closer, staring at the baby wrapped in the pink blanket. "Her name is Ava," he said softly. "My wife, she left her. I didn't even know until tonight." His voice cracked, years of pride melting into anguish. Claire looked down at the baby, then back at him. "She was alone in the rain, sir." "Whoever did that?" "I know," Adrian interrupted, running a hand through his wet hair. "My wife took her when she left, and tonight, she abandoned her. I didn't believe she could, but," his words broke off, swallowed by guilt. For a moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the baby's soft coo. Claire stood up slowly and handed Ava to her father. "She's safe now," she said gently. "You found her in time." Adrian looked at the maid, this woman standing before him, soaked, shivering, yet filled with warmth and courage, and for the first time, he felt something he hadn't felt in years, gratitude. "You saved he whispered. "You saved my daughter." Claire shook her head. "No, sir. I just did what anyone with a heart would do. But not everyone would have done it." In a mansion filled with people serving for money, Claire's compassion stood out. She could have walked past that gate. She could have pretended not to hear. Yet she didn't. She risked herself for a child who wasn't hers. Over the next few days, as Ava recovered, Adrian found himself watching Claire closely. She sang softly while feeding the baby, her gentle touch calming the child's cries faster than any doctor could. When Ava smiled for the first time, it was at Claire. Something stirred in Adrian's chest, a strange mix of admiration and guilt. He realized how empty his life had been. All the wealth, all the power, none of it could fill the void that only love and kindness could. One evening, Adrian approached Claire in the garden. "I've been thinking," he said quietly. "You've cared for Ava as if she were your own. I owe you more than I can repay." Claire smiled humbly. "You owe me nothing, sir. I'm just happy she's safe." He hesitated, then said, "Would you consider staying, not as a maid, but as Ava's nanny?" Claire's eyes widened. "Sir, You have a heart this house desperately needs," he said softly. "And Ava, she already loves you." Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. She nodded silently. From that day forward, she became more than just a maid, she became the heart of the mansion. Adrian often found himself drawn to her strength and kindness. Slowly, their worlds, one of wealth and one of humility, began to bridge through the love of a little girl who had once been abandoned in the rain. Months later, on Ava's first birthday, the mansion was filled with laughter. Adrian stood by Claire's side, watching Ava giggle in her arms. "You changed everything," he whispered. Claire smiled, looking up at him. "No, sir. Ava did. She brought us together." Adrian smiled, his eyes softening. Then maybe fate had a plan all along. As the camera fades, the image of Claire holding Ava under the soft glow of lights turns into a powerful message about love, sacrifice, and humanity. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can save not just one life, but many hearts. Forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.